To employ dark humor, at least the stuffed shirts in government offer you options. Sure, they take your money and redirect it to their cozy special interest friends, and sure, they eliminate your real options and reduce your choices in your real life, warping resource allocation and utilization, including the resources of human time, thought, and labor. But they do give you other things, namely valid reasons to be upset. So take your pick, as this news opens up a vista of vitriolic possibilities and lets one ask, which offense takes precedent? Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Here's the story. Mike Lee at Politico's climate cultist subsite E&E News reports that the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, a few days ago announced its latest wonderful program. Quote, EPA announced this week that it has awarded about $900 million to school districts across the country to buy clean school buses. Clean. Do they mean school buses free of gum under the seats and clear of window smears? Do they mean buses that are not tied to the unconstitutional and immoral practice of federal spending? Well, of course they don't in the latter, since that's the very kind of thing that they're doing here. It's a cash handout. It's the entire catalyst for this E&E fluff piece. By using the term clean, Mr. Lee is employing a signal word, an Orwellian rewrite of reality, and one that fits the entire green agenda, to use emblematic buzzwords and catchy phrases to propagate an aura of reality that isn't real at all. What Mr. Lee means is electric buses, and though he doesn't bother discussing the reality of those buses, we at MRC-TV long have been reporting on the environmental burdens, the fire hazards, and economic problems of electric buses, electric cars, and e-bikes for a long time. Mr. Lee adds these glowing words, quote, the money will come in the form of rebates to participating school districts, and it will help pay for about 3,400 buses in 531 school districts in 47 states, plus the District of Columbia and several tribal regions and U.S. territories. This is the third time EPA has doled out money for clean school buses through a program that was established under the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure law. Cumulatively, EPA has awarded about $3 billion for 8,500 buses. So take your pick as to which is more upsetting. Is it the worry that kids might get hurt or worse due to a terrible fire on an electric bus? Is it the worry that kids might get stuck on an electric bus that runs out of charge and is stopped at the side of the highway near dusk in the winter? Is it the fact that the feds have spread so much money around in utter contempt for their supposed rulebook, the U.S. Constitution, which doesn't allow them to engage in that kind of behavior unless the Constitution is amended, that yes, they've spent so much money that those very kids are going to be tax debt slaves? Is it the erroneous idea that there is a right, so-called, to a government-provided so-called education? In other words, meaning that people will be forced to work and then have portions of their money taken by the government to then pay the teachers to teach the kids. And of course, logical people think that through, and they realize that if that's what government education proponents believe, then of course they could draw it out logically and, well, why not just enslave all the teachers and make them work instead? This absurd story about the third line of federal subsidies for electric buses in 47 states reveals all sorts of important concerns and things to consider, and none of the concerns are being addressed by the federal government. It's likely that the politicians ruling those states and many of the localities that will receive this bus money, well, it's likely they won't complain either. That'll be up to us. It'll be up to us to remind them of their oaths to the Constitution, and that we, yes, we own ourselves and the fruits of our labor. Their mob mentality is clear, and it can't be polished to some form of postmodernist beauty by Mr. Lee or the E&E website. The mentality is like that of a thief who sings to you as he steals. No amount of prettifying that activity will change the ugly face of government corruption and coercion. And now, even more kids are going to be put on those dangerous EV creations. How about people in DC and state politicians actually acknowledge the rules of the Constitution and the morality of freedom and self-ownership? And how about they leave people alone? Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Find us on Rumble where they don't censor us. Follow us there. On YouTube, they do censor us, but of course, we'd love it if you wanted to share the videos far and wide from any of the platforms. Always find us at MRCTV.org. While you're there, please consider donating to the Media Research Center and check out the MRC-TV store. Great stuff. You can find us on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and of course on X. On Gab, you can find me as @GardnerGoldsmith, and on Twitter/X, you can find me as @GuardGoldsmith. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and please share the videos far and wide. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.
I want to invite you as my guest on a very special, once-in-a-lifetime, 7-day post-election cruise in the Caribbean. It's going to be a blast.